So our new episode is entitled "The Pedestal of Pompeii." But before we get into the meat of that, we're going to tie up all of the loose ends from last time's episode. We can just get right to the question: what are you guys going to do with the Tellarites?
So are they medically stable?
The two in your sick bay are medically stable, and the ones in the brig are fine. They're able to be transported. It's just, probably by shuttle. You could transport them by transporter. It doesn't really matter, but they're not in risk of, dying from movement type of thing.
Well, as long as they're stable, then I don't I have no say in what happens to them. I
Okay.
did my job.
Can I keep one for me?
If they had died, I would have
Yeah.
allowed it.
That would be a strange thing to explain.
So yeah, I just would arrange some sort of transport. Okay, let's do the safest route. Let's probably shuttle them over.
Take them by shuttle. You got it. You put the two, they're seated, and the other two are brought on like safety hospital beds, and you load them each into a shuttlecraft. One shuttlecraft has just one of the Tellarites, and the other one has three Tellarites, one being still sedated and unconscious. And you begin the shuttling them down to the base to return them to their people, and then the shuttles turn around to come back to the Drake. You and Arhat then dock and proceed to decon.
Okay.
Since you have both have been on the planet for a very extended time, just because it's funny, let's have both of you roll roll a d6.
One.
The implosion thing.
Okay, so you guys just are in the decon chamber. You very professionally put the jelly on both of each other and are just sitting there
Good.
minding your own business. It takes about 2 hours to be in decon since you were down on the planet longer. So it's now the morning of, and let's have you, Mike, have a scene with the science lab officer that you wanted to have.
I'm thinking about just kind of meeting her wherever she is.
Okay.
If she's in the science lab, I would just ask if I can have a conversation with her just to get updates of what she saw on the planet, anything that I need to know, and I want to have a general conversation.
Okay, yep, she's in the science lab, and really, when it comes to observations on the planet, she doesn't have much to tell you because she stayed back at the base,
right,
and really just kind of stayed with Sondon and didn't really do much of anything.
Mm-hmm. But she can give insights into whether or not she saw anything with the Tellarites. And I want to ask her a few other questions.
She tells you that with the Tellarites that they were persistent. She just thinks that the stubbornness that they generally have as a species was just really like hyper presenting because this particular group of them were very into money and becoming rich.
Yeah. I'm going to change the questions now, and I'm going to ask, my question is from what you've seen about everyone, you interact with different people that I normally interact with. Is there anyone who you feel might be a problem on the ship? Because we've had issues in the past with the chef.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen anything that concerns you?
No, not really. She says that really the only people that she consistently interacts with is her other two science lab officers. She basically says hi and goodbye to both of them and doesn't really talk to them at great lengths. Nothing really suspicious comes to mind. Everybody seems to be doing their job appropriately.
And the last person I want to ask you about is Lieutenant Sova.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe him?
He is efficient and to the point. He has no issue explaining what he expects of us. But it feels like the natural Vulcan personality that they have, it's almost like strangely more with him.
Okay.
Like he's more proud to be a Vulcan than other Vulcans I've met.
I have noticed that myself.
And there are a few other Vulcans I work with, and they have the normal traits that Vulcans have, but Sova is different.
As a Vulcan, they don't show a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
Have you seen Sova at any time, what, as you would describe, show emotion?
Other than him acting a little more strange in decon recently, no.
Okay. If there's anything else I think I can think of, I will let you know. As of right now, there's no other questions I can think of.
Okay. Well, I'm always, happy to help and out in any way.
Thank you.
So I'll have you, Mike, roll Security Insight difficulty 2.
13. Nope. 0.
0. Okay. Well, as much as you felt she was being straightforward with a non-success, you may not be completely satisfied with what you determined.
Right. Am I getting the feeling that she might be the person, or do I feel that she has been honest about what she said?
You feel like she's been honest, but your interview of her doesn't feel like it's concluded. That's how it feels.
I'm still leaning towards Sova.
It would seem so. Let's have you, Captain. Let's have you get a message from your friend Barnaby. He has relayed back to you that with Dr. House's approval, they sent Lazesh's examinations to Starfleet Medical to use in helping this incapacitated individual that they have discovered, that Lazesh basically was inquiring about.
Okay.
So they took those examinations, and it has helped this individual, and that the individual is looking to contact Dr. House's patient.
I'll let Lazesh know.
For Lazesh's benefit, basically, you would expect that sometime in the near future that your time traveling partner here, Dr. Viams, will contact you to give you a more descriptive breakdown what happened on his end.
Okay.
So now it's the morning after, Captain. What are you going to do now? Like, are you going to leave Kaferin and let the Ibn Majid deal with what's happening here, or are you going to stay in the area?
I don't see any reason to stick around here.
Okay. So we'll have the Drake break orbit, and we'll cut ahead 8 hours from the morning. So now it's after 5 o'clock. Your shifts have all ended. And it's actually been really nice to have a few more Federation vessels in the area. With now the Varen at 2 and the Grelek on its way to 2, And now the Ibn Majid here at the planet, like, it kind of feels like you're back in like normal stomping grounds of the Federation. Like, more people to back you up. So in this 8 hours, you get a report from the Ibn Majid, and the captain informs you that limited influence is noted. The natives were not as bothered as it was assumed.
Okay.
So they did their own expeditions into the civilization and did their own investigations.
Did they know how to climb a tree?
Yes. So
Did any of their crew throw sticks at the captain?
no. The
No.
captain wasn't on the ground.
Mm-mm. No.
So
Only a fool captain would go on the mission.
so the thing that they find is the Kaferin government has kept their society practically crime free through the discreet use of the telepathic discs, and that honesty reigns supreme among them,
Oh,
and that dishonesty is met with the severest of punishment.
yeah.
Good.
Fair.
And they discovered that, like, the jungle thing and their bodies work together, and they basically dissolve one another.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cute.
So that is their form of punishment for being dishonest.
Would dissolve somebody else?
Yeah.
That sounds painful.
But it doesn't really happen because they're practically crime free. Based on the research conducted on the examinations of the discs, they're able to conclude that the discs are tied to the planet and would not function off world. That pretty much wraps up the other than the Sova stuff, that kind of wraps up that last mission. Okay, so the first scene that we're going to have is you come out of decon. So we're going back in time, Adri.
Yep.
The first scene that we're going to have is you're out of decon. You have an opportunity to talk to Sova before going to bed. Do you want to do that?
Yeah. How long has it been since he's been back?
It's been about like 4 or 5 hours. So it's not like incredibly late at night, but it's late.
I would be in the meditation robes. Right.
Yep. You would be in your quarters.
I think I will go to his quarters and
Okay.
ring the bell.
You may enter.
The doors swing open and I say, "Hello, Lieutenant.
Captain.
How are you feeling?"
I feel fine.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I see I've caught you in the middle of your meditation. I won't stay long. I just wanted to check in on you and make sure you're doing okay.
Thank you, Captain.
You're welcome. I'll hesitate a little bit and then I'll say, like, have a good night and start walking out. Like, I'm gonna leave, and then once I get to the doorway, I'll just kind of turn around and say, "I know this goes against your Vulcan culture, and I know that you hold that dear, and I respect that, but it's okay to have feelings sometimes, and if you want to discuss what happened, we can discuss that at some point, but I'm not going to press it." And then I'll just say good night and leave.
Good night.
So now in the morning,
I wake up, I walk over to the panel, and I contact Dr. House.
This is Dr. House.
Dr. House, could you please join me in my room? I wish to speak with you.
Yes, I'll be right there.
I decide as I'm because it takes like a while, doesn't it, to get down to my.
it'd take a couple minutes.
Take a few minutes, yeah.
Okay, I'll slip it on tea.
I'm here.
You may enter.
Hello, Lieutenant.
No, Doctor.
What is the reason for the call?
I trust anything that we discuss will be kept private.
Yeah, strictly confidential.
So I wish to discuss the events that happened recently.
Okay.
Obviously, you have your suspicions of what's going on.
Yeah, I have suspicions, but I don't have the full picture. I even
Well,
looked into your past medical record, and it's very clean.
well, I wish to discuss an unpleasant incident that happened years ago that I thought was behind me.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was on Andorian planet
Yeah.
Waitan.
Oh yes, Waitan, yeah.
Yes, there was a dispute over the ownership of the planet, and I was assigned to one of the outposts during the conflict.
Hmm.
There was an incident where I had to get in a close combat situation with an Andorian, and there was injuries. I was injured. It took me a long while to heal, and I thought I had fully healed, but this past incident shows that perhaps I didn't heal as much as I thought I would.
From a human standpoint, I would say that would be a sign of PTSD and trauma. But as a Vulcan, I would be interested to know how that affects your mental stability.
I'm not completely familiar with this. Obviously, such things are not fully discussed. Um, there was, I was forced to take the life of the Andorian, and I used illogical efforts to deal with the situation.
Were you checked medically after this incident occurred, or
Yes, you could say that. It took time to recover from the incident.
yeah, I assume that you would have had actual like physical wounds and damage.
Yes. In fact, as you can see, I still have the scar on my chin
Yeah,
that goes up to here from that specific incident.
right. Yeah, I did notice your scar. Well, that's interesting. So you have not had any other, I'll use the word emotional flare up since that incident?
Not that I can say, no.
So something about this incident on this planet let you give way to your emotions of anger.
Could be the pressure of the situation. Could be something about the planet. I am unsure.
How did you come out of the state you just meditated?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what it could be. Obviously, it's trauma, but like I said, that's usually atypical for a Vulcan.
Like I said, I did not delve into the medical records, so I am not unfamiliar with the Vulcan mind with trauma events.
And this is the first time you've had a reoccurring incident. So,
Since I recovered, yes.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, my medical recommendation would be to avoid a combat scenario for the time being. Can I contact the person who gave you the medical exam?
Well, you could contact the Vulcan Minister of Medicine. I'm sure he has records of these things
Okay.
because I was treated on Vulcan.
Yeah. And that you wouldn't mind if I did that?
If you feel it is necessary,
I just would like to prevent this from happening in the future, and I'm sure obviously that you would too.
that would be preferable.
Because you know how the captain's always putting us in awful situations where we have to. I just know the situation might occur again, and I would hate to have this reoccur.
Yes.
So with your approval, then I will contact High Command.
As I said, if you feel that this is necessary for the procedure, I give you permission.
Okay. And they didn't put you on, like, you don't take any supplement or anything.
No.
Okay. All right. Well then, yeah, I'll look more into it then.
And I trust that you will keep this between the two of us.
Yes, absolutely. I won't even. This is just me as the doctor. The medical staff on duty they won't know either.
Thank you, doctor.
I will take my tea to go, please.
You
All
just
right.
gave him a fancy Vulcan company, took it.
I was thinking because he probably wouldn't. He'd probably have other cups that he wouldn't mind.
Well, no,
losing.
let's just say for the ease of it, I came down with a cup of tea in my hand, and I need a refill, so he just
Oh
refilled it.
man, do you want to do something terrible, Caleb?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I
Andrew,
love it.
roll a d6.
Oh God.
I got three.
Huh?
Three.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, okay. Nothing
You're gonna have him
happens.
pour it. You're gonna have him pour it all over my hand, weren't you?
No, what I was gonna do was have him pour, like you came with a cup, and I was gonna have him pour it in. And when he went to go do it, he could smell alcohol coming out of the mug, out of the cup, like it had been used recently, type of thing. But no.
He's got his nose plugs in anyway.
That's true.
That would have been
Give it
great,
a
though.
rest.
Give it a rest.
Yeah, this alcoholic witch hunt is long,
Hey.
long since.
Hey, this house is Vicodin is whiskey, so
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that. Yeah, so that's it. Then I would just go back to medbay and I would contact Vulcan Medical Command.
you'll probably hear back in less than a day because Vulcan is closer than the Earth.
Ooh.
Nice.
Now we're gonna have the really, really fun scene where Arhat and Sova are probably now going to talk to each other.
Was I cleared for duty? The captain
He's-
told me to go to my room. I didn't know if
That's true.
it's okay for me to.
That's true. All right. Oh, you know what? It's a good
Go
point.
to
Let's
your-
Yeah,
room.
I need to talk to the cap. I need to talk to the doctor. Okay, so I'll just walk down to med bay.
So we'll do a fun thing for context.
Okay.
We'll say you're going to the med bay and you see House going back in.
Okay.
Like you see House go into the med bay as you're going to the room.
Okay. And I'll walk in and I'll say, "Hey, doctor."
Mm.
Wow. Wow.
Clearly, Dr. House does
Not-
not want to talk to people, but yet people keep insisting.
It's not even 8 a.m. and
Nope, it's not.
phones are ringing off the hook.
And
Yeah.
he didn't even have his tea with alcohol in it. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So House goes, he sighs and he says, it's not even 8 a.m. yet. Hello, Captain.
I'll say, "Well, hello. It's so nice to see you this morning.
So nice to see you this morning.
So nice. I was coming to talk to you about Sova.
Yeah.
How do you think? What's your medical opinion?"
Well, Captain, I think the results came back and Sova is a Vulcan.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And that's my medical, that's like 20 years of medical experience right there.
Well, that's pretty impressive. No wonder we would
Little-
place array with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still cleaning feathers out of
Yeah.
my room. Yeah, no, but if we could wrap this up. Sova is fine in my medical opinion.
So you think he's fit for duty?
Well, what kind of duty?
Regular Starfleet officer duty?
Well, I would say Sova is fit for any duty that takes place on board the ship.
Okay.
I would not send him into the field.
I can agree with that. I think there's more to his story than I understand and meets the eye. So
Yep.
I agree. I think we'll keep him up on board for now. And I guess if in your opinion that changes at some point, you let me know. But for now he'll be cleared for ship only.
Yeah, I am following up with Vulcan High Command on a couple things, but as of right now, I would say he's fit for duty. He's definitely not field ready, and he's definitely not combat ready.
Interesting. Okay.
So if you could avoid that, that would be
Yeah, I think we
in
can
his
manage that.
best interest. Yeah.
I think we can manage that. Well,
I
thank you
don't
for.
I don't think he's a danger to the crew, if that's what you're getting at.
No, I didn't think so either. I care more about him than anything. I want to make sure he's
Well,
okay. So
I assure you, he does not care about you. But that is
You'll
only because
never
of
say
his
that.
Vulcan blood.
I would be concerned if there was any other answer. So, okay, well, I will hope that nobody else comes to visit you in your sour mood this morning.
You can only pray aboard the ship.
You certainly can. I'll catch you later, Doc.
It was a pleasure as always, Captain.
As always.
As always.
So let's do the obvious thing and have you convene with Arhat in a corridor where you're updating him on the roster, because last he knew, Sova is not returning to bridge duty, and now he is about to. So you're the dutiful captain thing to do would be go to Arhat and talk to him and show him that like this is the updated schedule. And also tell Sova that that's what's happening so he can put his pants on and go to the bridge.
So I'm out in the corridor. I'm walking to Sova's room,
Oh, okay.
stepping it. And I say, "Oh, Arhat."
Hello, Captain.
Hello. Good to see you this morning. Hopefully you got a good night's sleep. Thank you.
Yeah, decent.
All right. Good enough. Happy to be off that planet and on to our next adventure.
I understand.
Yeah. I just wanted to update you. I just spoke with the doctor, and Lieutenant Sova has been cleared for duty, except for the doctor thinks it would be best to keep him off of field duty for a while. So until he says differently, he can be on the bridge and do all his other stuff on the ship, but we're just not going to take him on any field missions for a while. Let him recover.
If you feel that is okay, then I will be okay with it.
I think it's okay. I will keep a close eye on him. The doctor cleared him. It's not really my place to say anything different. My answer is if the doctor says it's okay, then I'll trust his professional opinion because it's not my forte. So I'm gonna head to his room right now and let him know that he can report to the bridge when he's ready.
Okay. Did you want me to let him know, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, you can let him know.
Okay, I did want to get a few details because there's still a couple holes on exactly what happened on the planet, so I did want to have an interview with him.
Okay, go easy on him. I think that was rough. I think he's going through something we don't quite understand. So
okay.
I know there's stuff, but do what's necessary, but go easy on him.
Okay. I'll go easy on him.
Okay, I'm off to the bridge.
I walk over to Sova's room and hit the buzzer.
Enter.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Commander.
I have been informed that you are on limited duty. You are able to resume your duties on the bridge You are just restricted to the ship. You are not allowed to do any missions off the ship.
Understood.
There are a couple questions I just wanted to ask you. I've been interviewing all the different people that were on the planet, and I'm just getting the details on exactly what happened. Can you tell
Understood.
me your side of the story?
So starting from when would you like to know? Are you talking about from when we got on the planet or a specific point?
In general, with the Tellarites.
Yes, the Tellarites. So, while we were hiding from the inhabitants of the planet, I realized that there was someone walking through the jungle towards us, and I saw that they were the Tellarites. Now, as you know, Tellarites feel it necessary to argue, to be very loud and boisterous. So, considering the danger of the situation, I felt it was necessary to incapacitate them. So I thought the quickest and safest route was to use the Vulcan nerve pinch. So I snuck up behind them and I was able to incapacitate the first one perfectly fine. The second one resisted, so I had to press harder. Then the third one, I pressed too hard and he became unconscious. Then the fourth one realized I was there, and so I grabbed him and I made sure that he was knocked out before he could say anything. Then, once they were all unconscious, I hid their bodies underneath some brush, so then that way later on we could deal with them after the situation resolved itself. I was unaware of how much pressure I put on the two of them. In my haste, I clearly put too much, and it caused severe injuries. I did not intend to do that.
Is that everything that happened that you can recall?
I believe so.
And you went to hide with the professor.
Correct.
The professor was there, but you are the one who dealt with the Tellarites.
Yes. Because of the distance to get to the Tellarites and the risk of making noise and alerting the natives, I decided to go alone, especially since I was able to sneak up behind them. I was able to surprise attack them.
Okay. How do you feel about me? Just on a personal note.
Well, as you know, Vulcans do not have emotions. We've learned to suppress them, so I feel nothing towards you.
I'm not so sure about that. When you grabbed the professor, you never checked to see how me or the captain was. You grabbed the professor and ran while I was trying to deal with the captain.
That is a good point. I guess in my haste, I did not think of that. Obviously, I trust that you and the captain are capable officers, but I do apologize for that.
And what about when the Tellarite gave up?
What do you mean?
I have a report saying that the Tellarite gave up, the fourth one, and then you still incapacitated him.
Yes. Now that you said that, because I did see his arms waving, so that could be interpreted as giving up. But I believe in my state, I saw it as him trying to call out. And at the time, I was very focused on disabling them to ensure the safety of the crew.
Okay. What would be best right now is if you get ready and you can attend your duties on the bridge.
Understood.
I will be heading to the bridge now. I leave and I go straight to the captain.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hello, I'm sitting on the bridge.
Captain, may I see you in the ready room?
Oh, ready room, of course.
I let Sova know that he has duties again, that he's only allowed to do duties on the ship, not off the ship.
Very good.
I did ask him a few questions. I interviewed him about what happened on the planet, and there are too many holes in his story. It's as if he's leaving out things, forgetting things. Something is going on with him.
I agree. I think there was more to it that he doesn't want to admit. But I get the feeling that you think that there's malice behind it.
I don't know if there's malice behind it. We've had issues with crew on the ship before.
I know.
I'm not saying that it is him, but with how many inconsistencies, I'm questioning it.
I see. I hate to think that a member of my crew could be harmful in any way.
I agree, but the
Yeah.
chef has proven that it could happen. My recommendation would be have the security just keep tabs on where he is at all times.
Yeah.
They don't have to be with him at all times, but they need to know where he is at all times.
All right. I'll consent to that. I hate to do it, but you're right. The chef, I believed him and he screwed us all over. So let's keep this between us and your trusted officers. I'd hate to have him think that we're suspicious of him if he truly is innocent, which I hope beyond all hope that he is. But also if he's not, he's pretty smart. So I would hate for him to catch on. I would like to keep the upper hand.
I would too.
Just keep me updated.
Understood, Captain.
Thank you.
So,
on the bridge now?
probably right as you step onto the bridge, the ready room door, you would see the ready, like that little corridor they have between the ready room and the bridge open, and Arhat stepping onto the bridge.
No, I would just assume my station.
So, Captain, would you have told Starfleet Command of what took place on the planet, specifically with Sova?
So I would save the report for the morning. That's a good question. I feel like I would speak about it in my personal log. The captain stalls on submitting her report. Yeah, I think she would have a lot of wrestling with herself over like, do I put this in there because it's the truth and what happened and it is what it is, or try to protect him a little bit because she doesn't really believe that he's guilty of anything and doesn't want to potentially get him court-martialed or something for something that any of us could have made that decision. I mean, it wouldn't have been a neck pinch, but it might have been I could have accidentally had the phaser on kill and not stun or something.
So here's the good news and the bad news. So the good news is you delay sending a report into Starfleet. The bad news is the Tellarites that returned to the base spoke to the commander, and Captain Bahalia reported to Starfleet Command what they said.
Excellent.
So at night, you get a report from Starfleet Command that they obviously want more information from you. They want your report.
Mm-hmm. Give a girl a chance.
and they look forward to getting your report before making any determinations.
Well, then that makes my decision for me. I can't lie. Because I'm a captain first and a friend later.
Well, we will see what comes of it. So you send your report to Starfleet Command?
Yes. I'm sorry, Sova. I tried. I tried.
I will take a chance to be who I'm meant to be. I won't let fear keep me from trying. It's time for me to make a change, to start living the life I want. I'm gonna reach for the sky, way up high. I'm never giving up. It's up to me to see who I can be, make dreams reality. I'm never giving up. 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 I'm never giving up.
So now we're back to after 5 p.m. later that day. So all of that happened in the morning. Then the Drake broke orbit, and you've been on your way. You've been leaving the system of Kaferin for about 8 hours now.
Okay.
Your shifts are over, and now we're going to have Caleb roll engineering and presence, but Mike is going to roll a d6.
I got a 5.
So you, Caleb, your difficulty is 2.
Okay, I got 2 successes.
Okay, Mike, first roll another d6.
Okay,
Do that for-
D6. 1.
Okay, so roll science insight difficulty 2.
Okay.
Andrew,
I got a 3 and a 5.
well, let's have Sondon still assist you and have Andrew roll science and communications for the ship. What? 1 out of 14. Okay.
Success.
So that's 2 momentum.
On top of our already 5.
Yeah, so you could bank that, and then if Mike wanted to use it for something else, he can.
Okay.
So what all this is that about in the 9 days that it's been, Clarke is explaining to you, Arhat, that mysterious computer code that appeared on his monitor for a few seconds in his room, and that the same code on it was the same from the chef's pad. And these rolls allowed all 3 of you, Sondon, yourself, Mike, and Ensign Clarke, to surmise that a constant, steady beam of code is being beamed to the Drake.
Okay.
That someone or something is sending a constant stream of code to the Drake.
Do we know what the code is doing?
No.
Okay.
Can we tell the general direction of where it's coming from?
You can, if you roll insight engineering with the ship rolling communication security of a difficulty of 4.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we have 6 momentum. Plus,
Yeah.
because this is the end of the mission, so if anyone wants to use a value, they can use their determination point.
Well, I had one extra.
Yeah. Yep. Do you want to use that to buy one?
Yeah, I'm going to use that
Sure.
to buy one. We still have 6.
I'll let that. Yep, that'll fly.
That will give me 3 dice to work with.
Yep. You can have now, if you don't want to roll engineering insight, you can have, because Clarke is there with you. So if you don't think your number is good, you can pass the buck.
I think it would be best for me to pass the buck because my engineering is 2 and my insight is 8.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
And like I said, nobody used their determination point yet. So if you have a value that works here,
Sure.
you can get a guaranteed 2 successes.
The thing is,
mine's a 14. I have a 14 overall for that.
I do have a value of that is safety of friends comes first.
That's a good value.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're being spied on.
And I feel that the ship and everyone on the ship could be in danger with this constant stream of information to the ship.
True.
Because most likely
Now
it's going to someone secretly who could be with the chef as an enemy.
True. Do you want to take a chance of rolling that, or do you want to see if Clarke has a determination? Do you how do you want to go with it? Do you want to just make 2 successes and hope you and the ship succeed 2 other times? Or
That's kind of what I'm thinking because that gives me a much better chance than Clarke because that's unless he has a value that he feels would work as well because his numbers are higher.
what do you think, Clarke? Do you think you can offer a better value than what he's got cooking?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'll roll for the ship.
Okay. I got 3 dice. We have the 6.
6 momentum. Do you want to use another one to roll 4 dice?
That's what I was debating on.
If he takes another one, though, it's going to be 2.
Yeah.
Just so
we'd
we're
be
going
down
to
to 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be down to 4.
So, I mean,
Everyone
that's
okay with that?
Yeah. It's ended the mission, so why not?
What about assisting? Can I assist?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I can allow that. So you would roll engineering presence as you did in the beginning, but
Okay.
1d20.
Right. Success.
I got a 5 and a 6.
Plus the 2, that's now 5 successes.
Okay.
And the ship did nothing.
So 5 successes, you get 1 momentum back. You are not able to pinpoint the source exactly, but it clearly emanates from space. And where the beam is being sent to on the Drake is moving.
So like somebody's data pad.
You're not quite sure exactly what it's going to, but it's definitely it's not a direct beam of code into one area of the Drake. Where it is currently aiming does move.
Can you track it?
You can track it.
It's not
Somewhere
just
in
scattering
space.
around the ship to try to divert your
Correct.
expectation. Yeah.
Correct. It's
So it's coming from somewhere in space, so a spaceship maybe, right?
maybe.
Or a space station or
Station.
satellite
Yeah.
or something.
Embedded
Yeah, how would we
space
track it?
station.
You would use what you found and basically go to where the code is.
Okay. Well, I'm not here, so I don't know anything.
What would you guys like to do?
I would recommend let me take a scanner and we'll pinpoint where the code's coming in.
Clarke, are you able to do a scan of the ship to see what could it catch this type of a code?
Yeah, I should be able to track it, pinpoint it off of any computer system or any electrical panel.
Okay, you can give that a try and see if you can come up with something. I'm going to contact the captain and let her know that we found some information. I walk over and I hit the button. Captain, are you there, Captain?
Hello, yes.
Just to give you an update, we found some information. There's literally a beam of information being aimed at the ship.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out where it's coming in, and we're trying to pinpoint why it's coming in.
Okay, I'll be right there.
You could basically see that it's the same code that he got on his computer. That's what's being sent. It's the same thing. It's the same exact information, like the same thing that he showed up on his computer is being sent to the Drake, and it's also the same symbols that were discovered on the chef's pad.
While Clarke is working on that, I'm going to ask Sondon to see if he can figure out, do a computer scan and see if there's any more information in the computer on that code.
Nope.
Nothing?
Nope. There's not other than what you guys have already put into it, like investigating the pad. Like basically the information that you guys put into the computer, that's what it's spitting back at you. So it's like almost like talking to yourself in a sense.
Are we able to tell where basically where the information is coming into the ship?
You can right now, without doing what Clarke was suggesting, which was like using a hand scanner to pinpoint it, you can just tell it's generally pointing to deck 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's say I'm there. I've made it in the room.
Is that crew quarters?
On deck 5 is engineering lower section, sick bay, captain's quarters, crew quarters, launch bays, science labs, mess hall, recreation room, navigational deflector, docking ports, and the brig.
Wow, that's a real crapshoot.
Yeah.
Jeez, it could be anybody.
Yeah, really.
Are we on the? Are we B group or C group? Late.
This is B.
Okay. So I'm going to contact Vincent and Jaleel.
Okay.
To grab some scanners. I'm going to head down there with Sondon. Ensign, see if you can pinpoint any information you can from here. We'll be sending you any information that we find.
You got it.
So I'm going down with Sondon, and I'm having the 2 security officers on duty right now on the 5th deck also grab scanners.
Well, actually, you know what, Mike? Let's have you roll for these guys since they're your dudes. It's just you just need a 9. Let's just make it difficulty 1 and just have you roll. And if you fail, I'll let you roll again since there's 2 of them.
Okay. Nope, they didn't get a 9.
Okay, try again for the other guy.
Okay, the other one got a 1 success.
Okay,
barely.
So we'll say that Jaleel says, he reports in. He says, Commander, I think the code is being directed to the mess hall.
The mess hall?
Yeah.
Where's Sova?
I'm not in the mess hall. I'm hiding in the vents.
Oh wow!
There's enemies everywhere.
Oh,
Everywhere.
good.
I'm going to leave my two security on this deck to continue scanning as they just
Okay.
walk around their round.
Well,
Okay.
so isn't the chef's like kitchen quarters and everything like in the mess hall as well?
The kitchen, I think there is a door from the kitchen to the mess hall, but like his quarters were not attached to it now.
Yeah.
That
But
was a
but
good thought, though.
the kitchen is though.
Yes.
Right.
And that's where the previous chef was working.
Yeah.
I'm going with Sandin to the mess
Okay.
hall to do scans.
Okay, so we'll just have you walk because you're already on deck 5. You walk to the mess hall and you walk in, and let's have you roll. You see a whole smattering of officers eating meals.
Right.
Let's have you roll science control, difficulty 1. Okay.
6, 7.
Okay, so as you're scanning, you happen to see that as you're scanning and you're doing one of those things where you're trying to follow it, and all of a sudden it pinpoints on Jahan is sitting at the table eating a meal, and
Oh,
he
no.
sees you walking over to him, and he says, "Hey there, Commander, joining me for dinner?"
Actually, I am following a signal that
Oh.
seems to be coming here.
Oh, a signal? What do you mean?
It's
I pull out the scanner and I'm scanning around him while watching to see his reaction.
So he just watches you with the scanner, and he just keeps looking at it, and he's like, he says, "Get anything good on that?" And as you're moving it around, you see that the code is being directly, like it is directly aimed at him. It is not around him. It is not like somewhere in his thing. It is aimed at him.
Oh boy. Well, according to the scanner, there's a signal being aimed directly at you.
Me?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Oh, do you know anything about this?
Well, I mean, I've heard about picking up signals before, but I'm not familiar with anything that you're implying.
This is being directed at you. Someone else is aiming a signal at you.
Hmm.
And do you want me to roll a six-sided dice to tell his reaction?
Sure, if you want, yeah.
he's not lying.
I know he's
It's
not
being-
lying.
It's
2.
being directed and bounced off his antenna.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. But I'm checking to see if he knows this or not.
So you didn't successfully roll that D6, but you're basically coming to the conclusion that he seems like he has no idea what you're talking about, but his glaring makeshift antenna are starting to draw great attention to you.
Yes. That was my thinking initially, because what else would be a
Right.
signal to him?
Right.
I need you to come with me, and we need to check a few things out.
Okay, can I finish my meal?
No.
Bring it with you.
Thank you. So he gathers his tray and he follows you to wherever you're taking him.
I'm going to take him to Clarke
He says, "Lead the way, Commander," with a mouthful. That's what he says.
Is it a cheeseburger?
Let's say it's a cheeseburger. He'll like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Are you enjoying your course?
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's have him just say that. Of course. That's good.
I bring him to Clarke, who's on the bridge with the captain.
Mm.
And I let the captain know that this is where the signal is being directed to. Motioning to Jahan.
I'll scream and cry.
He says, "Hi,
"No!"
Captain."
I knew you were dirty.
Hmm.
This whole
Not
time I
you.
knew it.
You, Jahan. I fought for you. Okay.
Looks like today I become the lieutenant. Finally not an ensign anymore.
They
Send
give
them
you
to
a
the-
second chance, and this is how you repay them.
So Clarke just stands there and he just says, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Oh my god.
He says, "What makes
I,
sense, Ensign?"
Well, there's two giant chrome reasons that suspect me of why this is happening.
Oh, I didn't realize you were jealous.
And I hold up my mechanical hand and I say, "I'm not jealous of your augments."
Oof.
John, is there any way that we can tap into your, because you have that little
Yeah.
box thing there? Is there like a audio jack? Something?
Yeah, I mean you can access it. I've only done minor things like that before.
Well, can
Buckle up.
yeah, I would like to plug it into a computer and download this frequency if we can.
Okay. Sure.
Do we have a spare laying around so we can just swap it out?
I don't think he has like an extra one, no.
No, I didn't think
No.
so.
No, because he spends all his time working on the ATV and the. I would like to take the equipment, the electrical equipment, and take him to medbay,
Okay.
just in case something goes wrong. He'll be there,
Okay.
so House can just revive him quickly.
Does anybody follow Clarke and Jahan to the med lab?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would.
Yeah, you
Just-
would.
I would with my hand on my blade just in case.
Hmm.
I
Well, you hear
don't
Jahan.
feel Jahan is the problem, but at the same time, there's always
He's
that
the solution.
So you hear Jahan say, "Come on, gang, we're going to the med bay." And you all go down to the med bay. And House is not in there, it's off shift.
Well, I mean, you can call him and wake him up.
That's true.
He's
Well,
not
right now,
sleeping.
he probably is eating or in his room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not letting the second person do this. This is important. Call him up.
Oh wow. So
Oh,
Mescal
well. Oh,
She's very
well.
qualified. The second's very qualified.
so Mescal sees the whole gang compiling into the med bay.
Mm-hmm. He says,
And he's
I
like-
better call the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. So you House, you were eating your meal in your room.
Nice meal.
A succulent meal.
You get the thing from, let's say, the captain. Let's say probably the captain would make that call.
Yeah, I would call him.
So House just walks in the door to med bay, opens, and he sees everybody in there, and he just goes, so the day is ending the same way it started. Excellent.
He says, "Doctor," he says, "everyone seems to be fascinated with me." So Clarke is gonna set him down and hook him up to a machine to download this code.
Yep.
Okay. Let's have you roll engineering control difficulty 3.
Oh, good. I have keeps composure at all cost. How about that?
You're not really under pressure.
I'm performing a medical procedure on a dear friend and a commanding officer in my department. Thank you very much.
Okay. I will let it go because you're nervous about hurting Jahan. I'll let that composure come into play. And let's have you roll science and computers for the ship.
9.
So what did
Andrew roll the complication?
Oh,
the ship rolled the complication
for the ship. Oh, great! So we're going to hit turbulence, like as. But if I roll 2 successes, then I can override that complication.
You can.
Do you want to? We have 5 momentum. Do you want to use some of it?
Did we start the new thing already? Yeah.
It's not the new mission quite yet. No.
Okay. So we still got the 5. Do you want to use some?
Yeah. Let me use 1, and then I'll roll 3 dice. That's the best. 3 and a 13, and then 1 more is a 4.
Look at that.
So tree.
3, so 5. So 5 successes, 2 extra. What would you like?
Well, I want to negate that critical.
Okay, gone.
Sure. Okay, good. And then bank the 1 momentum back.
There you go. So you very carefully and very meticulously connect to Jahan's little side port on his temple and connect it to the computer. And you begin to basically allow the computer to display what is being sent to him, or at least sent in his general direction. And after a few little stutters, not of him, of the screen, you see this code that you originally saw on your screen, and it is the exact same code that was on your screen, and it's just filtering out. It's not in English, it's in some unknown language.
So verified that it's the same code.
Yeah. But now that it's fully on the screen, I'll give this to you because you rolled really well and you used a determination. You, Clarke, when you're looking at it, and only you, Clarke, when you look at it, can determine that this is not like a conversation. This is not like somebody's letter is getting sent to him. You are literally watching like a process thing. It is like something is being sent to activate or control or make something happen. It's like computer talk. It's like a computer talking to a computer. It's ones and zeros essentially being interchanged with each other.
Somehow this information is being sent directly to him. Is there any way that we could set something up to intercept the information as opposed to it going to him?
I wonder what in his antenna is receiving it better.
Yeah, and why him? Like, why? Who is doing it and why?
The other thing that has me concerned is someone is able to send the information to him, which means they know where he is.
Yeah.
In turn, they know where we are.
Is there any way on that computer like that we can get a good like pinpoint of where it's coming from? Like where the signal originates from? No, of course not.
No.
Are we able to do a scan to see if his antenna are sending information?
So if you burn a momentum, I will tell Clarke what he thinks.
Yeah, burn it.
I'm willing to burn a momentum.
Okay, so Clarke, what you're putting together is that it's being sent to him. You're not sure why it's being sent to him, and he obviously doesn't seem affected by it. And he also doesn't seem like he has any idea that it's even happening. But you do have the idea that there's not much you can do with this other than like download it, but it doesn't seem like, because you don't have control of where it emanates from, you can't dictate where it ends up, right? So it'd be like trying to stop an arrow or a bullet like mid-flight. Like you have very little control over where that goes.
Yeah.
So the thing that you can do, or at least theorize that you can do, is like a bullet or an arrow, you can put something in its path to stop it from reaching its target.
Kind of what I was thinking. Where can we redirect the
Yeah.
information somewhere else so it stops going to him?
Try to
You can
mimic.
at least definitely jam the signal.
But here's the question. If we jam the signal to a way that shows that we jammed it, then they know that we
we know. That's what I was thinking too.
I don't like them knowing
that we know.
like where. Yeah, but I also
I'd
don't
like
like
to have
them.
the upper hand.
Is there a way, Will, that we could like mimic the frequency from John's antennas, like separately, so it still would appear that it's not going to John anymore, but it still appears like it is?
You can, it would just increase the difficulty of your roll.
We still have 4 momentum to use.
I mean, I don't want to make that call for the ship, but I don't like the idea of them knowing that we're onto them either, you know?
I agree. I don't want them to. I think let's use that as like a last ditch opportunity.
So we're at 4. We're at 4 momentum. What would the difficulty be, Will?
You can choose 1, 2, or 3, and 3 would be doing what you want.
Okay.
You could buy 2 extra dice.
Yeah.
So basically, the point of your choosing the difficulty is basically how heavy you're jamming the signal. That's why you get to choose the difficulty.
Okay. So even when you say jam, you still mean
Yes,
we're blocking it. We're blocking
what
it
you
from
want.
John.
What you want. Yeah, I'm giving you what you want. Yeah, I'm not messing with you.
Because how many people can assist?
Well, the ship can assist, and I would allow 1 person to assist. I mean, it'd be a kind of a cramped thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much 2 people can do at a council.
So that means you're starting off with 4 dice, and if you buy another 2, that's 6 dice to try to get 3 successes.
Yeah. Yeah, we should be fine then.
Right.
Your thing, Caleb, is going to be control engineering.
Yeah.
The ship is going to be communication security. And whoever wants to assist him would be doing command presence.
Do you want to roll for the ship, Adri, or you want me to?
Go for it. Yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
I'm
Better
waiting.
than a 20.
I rolled. I'm just waiting for everyone else to roll.
How many am I rolling? Did I buy 1 or 2?
You bought 2.
I bought 2. Okay.
Are we down to 1 momentum?
I think so.
Yes.
We had 4. That's -3. So yeah, we got 1
Yeah.
left.
Okay. So I need a 13. I got a 18 and a 10.
Nice.
So that's 1. And a 2 and a 10.
Did my cut succeed?
12. I got 1.
Nice.
Nice.
Ship did nothing.
But we still don't know who the information was for or who is sending the information.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can tell, I mean, you can surmise that the code being sent to Jahan seems like it's something to do with him or his antenna or something. But who's sending it, where it's coming from, why it's, no idea.
Is he feeling any different? Does he
Nope.
obviously didn't yeah. So now
Because you didn't take the antenna off of it, right?
Right. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So no.
But
I was gonna
obviously
say-
that signal wasn't like doing anything
No, he seems totally fine.
I was thinking if we were going to take it off of him, I would say just sedate him, do what we need to do with the antenna, and then give it back to him.
Yeah.
Mm.
So now in houses like lab, there's just an replicated antenna sitting there with the signal beaming to it.
Until you figure
Although,
out where to put it. Yeah.
well, here's the thing is like somebody's gonna have to like carry it around. Because if it stays stationary, then they're also gonna know that something is going on. Because the signal is used to following John throughout his daily activities.
Maybe.
If they're pinpointing that closely.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, Andrew. I got no ideas. I don't even know who it is.
I don't know either.
Can we try to run all of the binary numbers in a database and see if it pulls up, if it can translate it to English or anything?
Well, in general,
Okay.
text.
Yeah,
Okay.
because like you could run something through like a linguistic database, but this is
yeah,
like
because
a code.
now we have the full code.
Yeah.
We didn't have the full code before when we scanned the computers
Yeah.
for it.
Let's try it.
So we have the full code. We could run that against something.
Okay.
Because even binary code usually translates into, letter code.
Oh,
It goes to him and stops, right?
correct.
The thing I would ask Jahan is there anyone who has touched, accessed anything, your antenna at all?
Well, other than myself and Dr. House did here a few weeks ago, took it off, but since my days with my professor friend are back on Earth, like nobody's touched my antenna.
Okay. And isn't is that the only signal being sent to us, where it's just one signal, there's nothing else being sent to us?
No, just that one signal.
Okay. The thing is someone gave the chef access codes so that he was able to access our computers.
Yep.
So there's someone else on the ship that we need to figure out was.
So can we do what Caleb said? Try to put it through a linguistic thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
He can roll engineering reason, difficulty 3, and he can be assisted by the computer. Computers engineering.
Okay, I can do that.
We have one momentum.
Is this
All
a
right,
machine operation, Will?
Yeah, I mean you're looking at a computer. Yep.
I got a success.
Okay, good. Well, let me just go
So
for it then. I don't want to use the
more.
momentum.
Okay.
I can get 2 13s easily.
Okay.
Here we go.
He rolls the dice and gets 2.
Famous last words.
A 6 and a 13.
Oh, out the airlock.
Not this time.
So you're running it through to see, like, basically using the code to allow it to accomplish its goal. Like, let the code play out as if it's running to, like, let the code fully run. Obviously, you have no idea what it is saying because it appears like it's in another alien language, but you're not sure what. But as you allow the code to run, you can see that the code is trying to activate parts of Jahan's, like his configuration of his head. You can see that it's trying to activate things that are on his head, and that it's basically looking for that to make that happen. that is trying to like supersede something.
Let's say we had a computer simulation of Jahan's antenna. Would we be able to have that interact, or would it
You
have to
would
be the antenna itself?
you would either have to connect Jahan to the computer or have Clarke and Jahan reconstruct his prosthetic to do that.
I don't like the idea of either of those, because if that is designed to send a signal, we don't know what
Right.
happened afterwards.
So in order to know what it's doing, you would have to build the mechanism it's looking for,
Yeah.
or use it, or use the mechanism that's in front of it.
And either one is not a great idea because we don't know what the outcome would be. Let's just say the signal is to activate a transmitter on his antenna to send a signal to a bomb to explode.
Okay.
We won't know unless we activate, but then it'll be too late.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's theorize for a minute. Like, what if you were the people sending a signal? What would you be trying to activate on John? Like, I don't.
My only thought is like using it as a tracking device to track either him or our ship in a way
Yeah.
that's like undetected, because we would notice that on our computers if they
But
got how.
The thing
Will
is
said that the
last
code
crew is all, he was the only one who survived. What if the situation that caused the whole crew but him to die was because someone figured out the signal?
Yep.
And I feel like it wipes his memory. Because didn't he
Yeah.
say that like he didn't remember what happened?
Yeah.
Like next thing he knew, he woke up and like everybody.
He said
was
he said he had a tremendous headache.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he passed
Yeah.
out from the pain.
Was everybody dead, or was everybody just gone?
Everybody was dead. They basically had like brain aneurysms.
Okay, good. That's right. I do remember that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought so.
Why can't I go into another time loop now
Yeah.
before this happens again?
He'll press it and then just go
Yeah.
right.
I like how like Lozesh is just now figuring this out, and he's like, "Oh well, I'm out of here. I can't."
Yeah.
Oh, I know how this ends. Oh no,
This ship's too dangerous for me to be on.
I'm out of here.
My question is what part of the antenna is it trying to trigger? Are we able to figure that out from the code?
The part on his like temple. The thing that Clarke
It's like computer chip.
yeah, the thing that Clarke like hooked into.
Mm.
Would Clarke and John together be able to build a new set
Probably.
for him to wear?
Because it is a prosthetic that Jahan built primarily himself with the help of his professor friend.
Because if we built him a new set and even like a new chip, it would change the frequency of his antenna.
We could throw the old one out the airlock.
Well, I want to, I want to keep one on board so that we still have that signal, but at least that would protect him in the future where it would never jump back to him. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it does actually,
Mm-hmm.
and I agree.
Like,
I think that should be a plan. Why should we make new antenna when we should just make a new chip that puts off a different signal and do it that way?
yeah, that's true.
And instead of whole new antennas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. How sure are we that this is meant to be sent to John specifically and not just it happened to be sent to him because of his antenna? He could have been acting as like the signal blocker, and the signal was meant to go to something on the ship, and it went to him instead because of his antennas picked it up instead.
Right.
I don't know.
See what you mean. I see what you mean.
My question would be, what else on the ship could possibly, you know, be the target as opposed to John?
I think even if it activated something on John's chip, it wouldn't do anything to him. It's not going to turn him into like a hidden assassin or something, you know?
That you
Maybe
know of.
that I know, yeah. Freight car.
I'm not worried
box
about the
train.
hidden assassin. My concern is there's someone on the ship, and my thinking is when all the crew of the last crew died, someone may have physically plugged in something to his antenna.
Here's another thing. Remember what we said when the bomb went off at the other place, we couldn't get a clear picture of what he looked like.
Yeah.
And it could have been him because he was under the influence of whatever this is happening. So
It was an Andorian, wasn't it? But we
Right.
assumed it
It was a blue.
No.
It was a blue individual. Yep.
It was a blue
That's all we
individual who was very knowledgeable about where all of the cameras were to
Right.
be able to avoid them.
The more we talk about this, the more awful possibilities and just all over the place we get.
I feel like we should call it.
You can
Okay.
always call it.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Come
gotta
back.
think. I gotta
Yeah,
think
we
about
gotta-
this for a
we gotta
few
take-
weeks.
2 weeks
Okay.
and think about it.
So this is what I'll let Andrew wants to do something, but go ahead, Mike. You
Nope.
say what you're going to say.
I was going to say, my thinking is, even if we stop, we're still going to have people working on it in the background to try and figure out every detail of it and try and pinpoint where it's coming from.
This is
Because
definitely
right now-
something that like Clarke would not let go of.
Here's my thinking on the matter.
Okay.
If we send a probe out
Yeah.
and it does a scan for the signal to try and figure out about where it's coming from, at the same time we're doing a scan, you can triangulate about where it's coming from. My suggestion would be do that on the next episode.
Sure. You want to do some triangulation.
Yeah, I want to find out where the signal's coming from. That's my
And that would be the way to try and figure it out, is have 1 or 2 probes as well as use scanning, because that would give you a much better.
I'll give you an added thing just because it would make logical sense for this to happen as Clarke did it. When he sent the mimic code back, he could see that where the other end reached, it's like being distorted and like dissipating and being broken apart on the other end. So where this end goes, where the end comes from, so this comes, so it's here and it goes to here. The part that's now being sent from the Drake, like that Clarke did, and he's sending it this way. This part is now being distorted and like broken apart. It's an interesting phenomenon. It's not that the code is breaking apart, it's just an interesting phenomenon.
It's real interesting.
So Andrew, what did you want to do before, or did you want to save it until we?
No, it's just I just wanted to make it official because I was looking through my notes and I remembered that while on the planet, Sova discovered 4 life forms: the fireflies, the leopard kind of thing, herbivores, and the clamp large blossom.
Yeah.
So I was thinking he should make an official report.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to put that forth.
Sure.
Somewhere either this night or the next night or something, like that should be officially filed.
Got it. Okay.
So that way, going forward, everybody knows about these things.
Okay.
Are you gonna name everything?
Well, I didn't know. That's also another question. Do Vulcans name things? Like I know they name like planets, but do they name like creatures?
Probably. I mean, it would if you're discovering it. I think that you get the opportunity to name it. But
Okay.
I think how it would be is if you don't put forth a naming thing, then it just goes before a committee and they name it.
Okay, so I got to
That's
figure
how I
out
feel like it would happen.
if Sova would want to name it, or would he
Right.
just give it to the committee and be like, "Here's some things I found."
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's up to you what you think Sova would do, but yeah, that's what's handed to him. Yeah, we'll end it on these two thoughts. So
Mhm.
between next time, Mike, you're gonna pick for next time if we get there. Have you pick 3 additional science officers outside of Golu and Sova.
Okay.
After this has been tied up to the where you guys like it, you'll have like an interview session with each of those officers, since that's what you're doing is investigating.
Sounds good.
And the last bit of note is, as everybody is over in the corner looking at everything and like everybody's talking about what's happening with Jahan, and you see, everybody's Clarke and Arhat and the captain and Jahan are all going back and forth and coming up with the ideas. House's one of his computers next to the thing goes kind of bleeps and blinks next to where he's sitting, because he's just waiting for everybody to leave the med bay so that he can go back to his room. And so you press the computer, right? You would investigate that house.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So when you look at it, it is the blood work panels have come back.
Okay, good.
And the blood work panel shows that.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that comes in and I look at it.
Yeah.
And I just kind of glance over at the group. And then I just shut the computer off.
Mm.
The blood work of what? Of what?
Your
Well-
blood work.
Me?
Yep.
Why would my blood work come back?
Because that's what he was doing.
Oh, like 6 weeks ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Knightley even knows that I was running it.
No, she has no idea.
No.
Perfect.
All right, so that's where we'll end it.
Bunch of
We
fools.
didn't get into the new mission at all.
Good.
And
It's gonna be
we'll
like
see
a
what-
seven-parter.
I hate
We'll
when we
see.
make progress.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Uh-oh,
Good.
Sylvia, you're
Oh.
muted.
No, I'm not. Now I'm unmuted. Are we officially done now? Are we going on to the new mission?
No,
No. Okay.
because when we come back, you guys have to resolve what you're doing with Jahan here in the med bay, and then Mike's little interview thing will be. So it's gonna be those 2 things. Once that ends, then we'll move on to the new mission.
In that, or
Goodbye.
'cause there are more people
Bye.
that-
Bye.
No.
See you, buddy.
All
Have a good
right.
night.
Bye.
See you in
Yeah.
a while.
Good
Bye now.
night.
Still
But it takes
holding.
18 days for her father to reach her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
come on.
Terribly
Yeah.
far
Yeah,
away.
that's because he's a loser and he's on Earth.
That's what she thinks. You.
Earth. Wow.
Wow, this is going off the rails.
Wow.